Hey everybody, so welcome to day 4 of a 30-day countdown to adventure. So I'm documenting my weight loss. So far I've lost about 146 pounds. Throughout the pandemic, I got up, went back down, and I'm kind of telling my story as to how it went, where I'm at, what helped me, how did it work. One of the first things that we talked about was specifically the idea of kind of knowing yourself, right? One of the things that made this entire process so successful was understanding what I was trying to do. That it wasn't just, oh, I'm going to work out or this, that. It's a lot broader. There's a lot more understanding, a lot more details that have to be covered. And you kind of overcome them through the process, and it helps, right? And it's the idea is that it snowballs. Now if you watch any of the previous days, we kind of missed day 2 and had to double up on day 3 because my brother passed away on the weekend. So again, I wanted to do them at 10 p.m. live, but right now, well, I'm gonna go meet with family right now, so that's kind of that's more important. So I thought I would do this a little earlier, and hopefully everyone can enjoy it at their leisure. So today, what I want to talk about was specifically number one. This shirt I bought probably last fall, and well, here so I can show you guys. I didn't tuck it in on purpose, but here's the two ends of the shirt so you can see how big it is. It looks like one of those things you got to blur your eyes, and then so that's what's happened um, throughout. That's the difference. So, but it's a nice shirt, so I'm gonna try and get a little wear out of it as best I can. So, one of those things that happened to me was, throughout something else I was talking with somebody else explaining it was that the idea of being alone, feeling alone, resulted in me just kind of being driven by spite against the universe, that the universe would allow me to feel that way. And in turn, being cognizant of my own personal weaknesses and strengths was a huge deal to help me move forward, right? Because turning your weaknesses into strengths are what will make you um, continue on that path, right? Because we all have weaknesses, and saying you have no weaknesses just means you don't understand what's happening, right? People who say, well, I have no weakness, you're like, you don't get uh, your own situation, right? So there's nothing wrong with admitting weakness and having an understanding of what it is and how it works, but the important part is to acknowledge it and to find a way to turn that into a strength. Like for myself, a lot of the exercises that I was being given, I was like, well, I want to exercise, but I'm um, not lazy. If laziness was an Olympic level sport, I wouldn't just get gold, I'd send somebody else to pick up my gold medal, just to understand. I don't want to do stuff. So I was like, how can I do? Can I do this just in bed? What exercise can I do just in bed to get the ball starting and everything? Because I know for myself, I can't speak for others, but I know for myself, was once you start doing something, that first initial step is one of the most important things, because then you're like, well, I've already started. I might as well continue, right? On the days where I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to do some stretches and then I'll leave it at that. It'll be a light day. And then lo and behold, once I've done my stretches, I move on to weights and then continue an entire workout and go, oh, well, I was already here. I'm just going to keep on going, right? So it's one of those things where in turn you realize that, oh, all I need is one you need one reaction, and that pushes you forward. So one of the things I learned was if I could acknowledge my weakness and then work with that weakness to push myself forward, then um, that will continue my progress. Because ultimately, one of the hardest parts is you get sick, you get an injury, or something happens, and then you go, oh, you know what? I'll get back to it in a couple days. I need to heal. My body needs to heal. That's what I need to do. And that's not wrong, because injuries happen, accidents happen, life happens. Hell, we had just past 3 years of life happening, right? But that doesn't mean that that's our enemy, and that doesn't mean that it doesn't become a priority. But we have to be held accountable to our own existence. We have to be held accountable to our own goals and understanding how it is we're working. And that's why for myself, what I found was one of those traps is that some days you don't feel like doing anything. Um, I've been fasting since yesterday, and I'm going to continue fasting for another couple of days. On those days, a lot of people you'll see online will be like, you don't have to work out when you're fasting. And that's good advice. And that's people who are very, very smart are saying those kind of things. It's totally fair. It's reasonable. It's a good thing. For myself, I still find I have a lot of energy and I need that motivation to push through because I use fasting as a way to break through certain barriers. For myself, I was stuck at 330, 320, and then 310. And fasting helped me kind of supersede that plateau. And one of the keys was to always keep my body guessing. Um, and by doing that, it was a I couldn't allow my body to fail me because it never knew what was happening, right? And I know that may sound weird, but the idea of having breakfast every day at a specific time, your body will adapt to that instantly. And then I know for myself, being a big fatso, then all of a sudden I'm hungry. Why am I hungry around that time? Good. You have to fight that hunger. You have to fight through it because is it a convenience thing? Because remember, we're not cats or dogs where, you ring a bell and they start salivating, but we are. We want to be. We yearn to have that structure, and it will um, guide us towards failure because the acknowledgement is knowing that I'm not. Oh, it's dinner time, so I have to eat. No, that's just not true. It's ingrained in our minds through media, through life, through our upbringing, through commercials, just through everything where it's like, well, you have to have 3 square meals a day. It's very important. And well, I'm as big as a house. So maybe I've already had my three. Not a bad idea. And also, too, one of the things every health practitioner I've talked to, I'm not a health practitioner. I'm an idiot. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just bumbling through this and as successfully as I can. But the idea is, and all of them said the same thing was, if you start to feel faint and your mind gets kind of blurry, where you're definitely not functioning optimally, yeah, that's a word, right? You need to eat, right? And the idea of not drinking water, no, that's a very dangerous thing. I drink water regularly. I have water, lemon water, and coffee with heavy cream. That's it. Those are the three things that I eat, drink, not food. But that's the key, was that focusing on what I could do versus what I can't do, right? And then using that weakness. Right now, like my goal for this week is to last until Thursday. But also too, at Thursday, I'm going to be at my record so far is 88 hours, and I found that I started to get a headache. I said, you know what? That's a good symbol for me to start eating again. So this week, I'm going to try, whether I'm failure or successful, I will let you guys know, but I'm going to see how far I can go. The reason being why is I want to do better, right? Because I want to challenge myself. So that's one of the big things that I would focus on for today, was the idea of knowing and acknowledging your weaknesses will put you in a position where you can try and turn those weaknesses and to strengths. And when you have those strengths, then you have your strengths and your new strengths together make you stronger, because it's not easy. Nothing is easy. If you can tell me one thing that was super easy and super beneficial, yeah, great. I'll tell you, right. I saw one of my brother's closest friends who got gastric bypass surgery a few years ago, and people were like, "Oh, you should get it too. He looks so great. Yeah, he's as big as a house again." You know why? Because that's easy. And now I'm not trying to knock that procedure, because many people need it and many people benefit from it. But what I'm saying is there's also a whole other slew of things that are not important but paramount before you can actually achieve those things. I've failed so many times with diets and um, advice and pills and meal plans, tons of stuff. This is the first time that this has worked for this long, and I've felt good about it. I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not saying it's for everybody, What I'm saying is, people say, well, I don't know what to do. What have you tried? I don't want to work out. Who does? I told another friend, I said, if I ever start talking about a runner's high, I'm done. Just put me out of my misery. Why? Because that's insane. That's not who I want to be as a person. And that's one of the keys, right? Is knowing who you are and knowing what your goals are will give you a position where you can actually start acting on them. I think that's all I have for today, guys. Please like, share, subscribe, share it with your friends, and leave a comment. Let me know what kind of weaknesses you're dealing with. I'd love to help out as many people as possible, as I really think this is something that's beneficial to everybody to learn. So have a great day, and I'll see you guys soon.